Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to continue to work on the custom sail panels for getting towards the target top. It's the first day back in the garage, and it's the first day I have officially made a massive mess. So let's take a look at what I've got going on and see where we're going to go from here. Alright, even with the dust collection system running, you can see it is everywhere. That's the real culprit there. If I sand by hand, I can contain the mess okay, but if I fire up that bad boy, it just goes everywhere, even with the dust collector hooked to it. So things aren't looking as good as I'd hoped. Here's the panel here. This is the bottom edge, and as you can see, it's missing a huge chunk. Now I cut the fleece and fiberglass out right there because it kind of curled up and it was sitting high. And I used the plaster to rebuild it. And yeah, there it is right there. Or at least a large portion of it right there. Turns out the plaster is very brittle, and so it's not good for bridging. It works great on top of a solid surface, but bridging, not so much. So I sanded the plaster down, and then I've actually had 2 coats of Duraglass on here, trying to build back up this edge and build up this edge and fill in some low spots. Where I'm at right now, I've got a really massive low spot right here. So I'm going to come back with some more plaster and a large trowel so that I can kind of bridge the gap there and flat it off and fill in that low spot. Now I've got a little bit of a low spot here. I'll do the same thing. And then once that's had time to kick and kind of gel so that I know it's not going to move, it won't be cured. I won't be able to sand it, but it should set in about 30 minutes so that I can work on the panel. Then I'm going to come back with a piece of cardboard and tape over this bridge with the cardboard, and then lay some fiberglass mat and resin from the backside to build this edge back out and get started with that. So this is about 4 hours in the shop making a mess. Not bad for a Monday afternoon. I'm fixing to get the plaster on, and then once that sets in about 30 minutes, I'll be able to put some fiberglass on here and let all that cure overnight. And then maybe tomorrow night I'll get an opportunity to sand again. But progress is going to get real slow at this point because you spend a lot of time waiting on stuff to cure. Well, that was an adventure. It turns out that although plaster has a consistency similar to body filler, its behavior is more like clay, in that what I did was I tried to take a straight edge and skim it or screed it to create a perfectly flat surface. It wasn't having any of that. It would roll up and pull out as one big ball, which is very interesting. It's very much a non-Newtonian fluid. If you don't know what a non-Newtonian fluid is, a perfect example is cornstarch in water. If you have a cup of cornstarch that's wet and watery, and you set a penny on top of it, it'll sink to the bottom. But if you take a penny and throw it on there, it'll bounce off of it because it can't, the instant forces disperse and it acts like a solid. So if you want to screed the plaster, you have to kind of skim it down, take a little bit off the top, a little bit off the top, a little bit off the top until you get down to where you want to be. And it sets up a little fast for that, actually, or maybe I should have mixed it up a little better, but I actually made a huge mess here. The first set I busted off. That's just a little bit of it. That's what didn't get taken out to the trash yet. So I mixed up a second set and tried it again. And as you can see, it's set already in just the amount of time it took me to clean up the bucket and tools. So I'm fixing to get this taped off and set the fiberglass up and let it cure overnight. And been doing some research on maybe something that's better than the plaster. I kind of like the plaster because it cures quickly, relatively quickly, at a cheap price. But I may see if I can find something else that might be good for filling and sanding. So cheaper than body filler, easier to work with than plaster. We'll see what I can find. So today, I've gone through about 1/3 of a gallon of Duraglass, and I've been sanding for close to 6 hours. But I've finally gotten all the waves and low spots out of this sail panel all up through here, which is really what I was trying to get. I won't come back and really finish this edge out until I remove the plastic and I can match that. What I'm doing right now is working on the back side. So this is soaked with resin. It's another piece of felt that's hung down where I want it. And then this piece is set on top of it, and I've got some heavy stuff kind of keeping it pressed in so that hopefully it'll cure together, at least enough for me to take it off, flip it over, and lay another strip to really bond the two pieces together on the inside. And then I'll be able to finish the top edge and the back edge. And then once I'm done with that, I've got to bring it all the way back to the tail panel as a strip. So building this thing in pieces and kind of putting it together, which maybe isn't the best way, but I'm just not sure what the best way is because I've never done this. So yeah, I'm at the point now where this has got to dry, and then hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to come out and start trying to finish that so that it's all smooth. Once I'm done with that, then I got to do the other side, and then I can make the piece that bridges the middle. So this is going to take a really, really long time. Well, I came out this morning, and the piece that I laid on this side up under this piece had dried and was good and stiff, and it was sticking fairly well. A little loose up here on the top end, so I got up under there and sandwiched some more resin in between the two layers and clamped it together. And then I got started on working it out. So there was a big ridge right here, obviously, where one piece of cloth overlapped the other. I built all that up with Duraglass and shaped it out using the longboard. And then I've come back with a layer of lightweight body filler to smooth out any imperfections there. And then went ahead and put a layer of lightweight body filler just over the entire piece of felt there so that I could get an initial smooth on that and give me an idea of any low spots I've got, because it's kind of a uniquely curved piece. So that's probably going to be it for the video. It was a whole weekend's worth of work, although there's not a lot of footage. This is kind of, I think, where the videos are going to be until I'm finished with this roof. It's going to be a lot of sanding, which is not video worthy, and a lot of waiting on fiberglass to cure, which is not video worthy. So the videos should be short and to the point, and they'll just kind of be updates showing what kind of progress I'm making on this roof. So thanks for watching, guys.